cover, you came across some of Christopher Dunch's surgeries.
So there were no complications?
I don't have complications.
The question isn't why he did it. It's how he got away with it.
All due respect, Dr. Kirby, you don't understand the law.
You don't understand who we're after.
If you come for me, you better be ready for what I'm gonna do to you.
Dr. Death, a new series available 12th of September only on Stars Play.
Hello and welcome to Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. I'm Becky Parker Geist and I'm your host. Audiobook Connection is your place to learn about the audiobook creative process and for authors to learn valuable tips on producing and marketing your audiobooks. This podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me. So today we're going to talk about following the clues to success. And you may have heard the quote from Tony Robbins that goes, "Success leaves clues. Go figure out what someone else who was successful did and model it. Improve it, but learn their steps." And that's what we're going to talk about today. And this is specifically regarding your marketing. Marketing includes everything from your book cover to what you do on social media to your book description, all of your metadata for your book, your website. All the ways that you show up with your book are a part of your marketing. And while each story is unique, each book is different, your spin on your topic and the way that you fit into your genre are all going to be unique. Yes, that's true. But there are others who are writing either in the same vein, on the same topic, for the same target market. These are ways that multiple books can be serving that same audience. So how do you figure out what those other authors are doing when they're doing it successfully? That's what we're going to focus on in this podcast episode. The first thing I recommend is that you go to Amazon and use that as a starting place for your research. If you already know successful authors in your genre, you can go directly to search on their titles. But perhaps an even better way is to search on the genre. Look at who comes up at the top of that list. If there are multiple books by the same author, all the more helpful to identify that author as somebody that you want to put on your research list. Someone you want to learn more about, what they're doing, why they're showing up at the top of this list when you search on the genre on Amazon. Even if your book is already published and you already have your cover image finalized and all of that, it is still of value to take a look and see how your book cover compares with the other book covers. Do the book descriptions of those other books that show up near the top, say on the first page or first and second pages of your search, take a look at the descriptions of the books. And if it sounds like your book is targeting the same kind of audience, then how does your book cover compare to theirs in terms of things like colors or shades or fonts or basic layouts? Get a feel for whether your book seems to fit in this genre world. This can be really valuable if you have not yet finalized your book cover and is a step in the approach to making those final decisions. Each book cover, and I'm not a book cover designer, but I've seen a lot of book cover design presentations. And one of the main things that I hear again and again is how the book cover is making a promise to the reader or the listener about the content of their book. And that promise is a visual promise, and it's important that your book cover look like it is going to deliver in the genre, in the type of story that your cover is suggesting. Now, the next thing I want you to look at is when you're going through those book descriptions, look at how they're set up. What kind of language are they using in the description itself? Are they starting with a powerful quote of a review that might suggest that you might do that with your book description? Whether you have done this for your print or ebook editions or not is not the relevant piece here, and those are easily changed, at least on Amazon and certainly through Ingram Spark. But right now, what's important is we're thinking about your audiobook and how you're going to approach that description. So we're looking at the format. Are they broken up with spaces, paragraphs? In audiobooks, we don't have as much opportunity to do full-on formatting with bold and things like that we do in our print editions. But we can split things up with paragraph breaks, and that can be especially important since we're so limited in the kinds of formatting options that we have. I also want to point out that when you're doing this search, I would recommend that you consider the top of the list as the book that falls right below the sponsored ads. Those sponsored ads could be a way that you may want to approach marketing your book, your print and ebook, but that's not telling you who is showing up in an organic search. So you have to look at right below that. Think of that as the top of the page. Another thing to look at on these book descriptions is when you scroll down is looking at what genres or what categories they're in. And that's in the product details, which you find down below. Look at the different categories that book is identified as being a part of. Would any of those categories be a good fit for you? You may not have thought about any of those, but Amazon especially does break up the categories into many, many, many smaller subcategories. These are important and really help an author who can place better in a smaller category, one with fewer books in it, but that still fit the book. It does still have to fit the book or the audiobook. But being in a smaller category sometimes means that you can rank as a bestseller in a smaller category. So that's something to take a look at. Once you've identified an author or two or, maybe up to 5 different authors that are showing up at the top of that list, the next thing I want you to do is to click on their author name and look at their author central profile. That will also give you a lot of information. How is that profile set up? What categories of information are complete? For example, there is a place for a bio. There are places for reviews. There is a place to link a blog. There are places for videos, images, things like that. Look at what each of these authors who is showing up at the top of that list, who is leaving clues for success, and take a look at what they're doing on those. Make a note of each of those authors for their author central page and what components are included that they have completed. Once you see what that pattern is, you can identify which things you feel you can do and make a note to do those, because the successful authors are doing them and you want to be successful. So the best thing is to look at what they're doing and follow their good example when it comes to marketing. On their author central page for each of the authors, you should find a website for that author. I also suggest you go to their websites and take a look at some of the information there. Can you identify keywords that they're using? Keywords that would also be appropriate for your target audience. What kinds of titles are they using on their website? Are they blogging? And if so, what are they blogging about? How frequently are they blogging? Is their blog connected to their author central page? And how are they positioning their books on their website? When I say positioning, I mean we're thinking about How are they talking to their audience in a way that makes their audience feel compelled or drawn to purchase the book or the audiobook? All right, let's take a short break. We'll come right back and talk about some other areas where we can hunt out some clues for success.
Looking for a way to get some direction and help with building your author platform and marketing your books and audiobooks? Pro Audio Voices created the Audiobook Marketing Program to help authors like yourself get the support they need at an affordable rate. We work with you to bring your goals together with our marketing expertise to create a customized blueprint, the tools and materials to build your platform, step-by-step instructions, and the team to help you all along the way. For more information, visit proaudiovoices.com and click on Audiobook Marketing Program. Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing.
Okay, now let's take a look at a different aspect of marketing. An aspect that you probably thought of first when I brought up that we were going to talk about marketing, and that is social media. You most likely found on the Author Central page for those authors, or on their websites, links to their social media. Now, again, these are authors that we targeted as writing in your genre for an audience that may be the same audience or very similar to yours. So we want to know where they're showing up on social media. Which platforms is the first question. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Instagram? Where are they showing up? Keep track of all of this information for each of these authors because it will be valuable. You're identifying the clues for their success. So once you write down where they're showing up, take a look at what type of posts are they posting? What kind of comments are they making? And if you can see how frequently they post, that's really helpful. Do they have an author page on Facebook? And if so, again, what kind of posts are they posting? How frequently are they posting them? Are they responding to other people's comments if you're able to see that? And what kinds of comments are they making? Or what kind of responses are they making? How active do they appear to be on social media? And another big one is what hashtags are they using on each of the different platforms? Each of the social media platforms has a different kind of expectation or best practices for that regarding hashtags. So you'll want to be taking that into consideration and seeing what they're actively doing on their channels. And you can find what those best practices are if you do some Google searches and ask that question. What's really important there is make sure that you find really up-to-date, current information, because there's probably not much that changes faster than what are the best practices on any given social media platform. You can take all of this information that you've gathered, all of this research, and create a kind of roadmap for success. Follow that roadmap with your own work. Map out what you're going to do if you're going to blog, what you'll blog about, how frequently. Map that out, and then do what you can of that map that you have created. And there's one other thing that I want you to really seriously consider, because so often in this world we think about the other authors that are getting to the top of that list as your competitors, but they're really not. They are helping you. And the way that they're helping you is they're generating that audience and keeping an audience that wants more of the same kind of genre, the same kind of content. They're helping to feed that audience and keep their interest and activity alive. And there is an opportunity, depending on the author and their own attitudes, there is an opportunity to connect with the author, Follow them on social media. Comment and react to their posts. Become a friend on social media. The more you show up for them, the more likely they are to respond if you email or reach out to contact them, and especially if you've read some of their work. That's also a really great way to help other authors while at the same time gathering information about what they're doing and what their audiences are looking for. I'm not saying to change your writing style. I'm just saying that it can be helpful to understand what is working for audiences, and then also to communicate with those authors and possibly make some kind of arrangement with them whereby you help promote theirs and they help promote yours. They might be willing to write a review for you or a short testimonial. After all, getting their name on the cover or in the information of another author who is also writing for their genre can be beneficial to them. And we're all people, just wanting to do our best and help each other the best that we can. Approach it from that direction, and I think you'll find more often than not, you'll have a willing partner. So those are some first steps to take, and there are several that we identified. But following these first steps to create a roadmap for your own path of success is a great place to get started. And speaking of getting started with marketing, if you're looking for help in this process, not just with these basic steps that I laid out, but a full, custom, professional marketing blueprint, that is our starting place with the Audiobook Marketing Program. If you have questions about that, we'd love to talk with you to see if the Audiobook Marketing Program might be a good fit for you. Thanks again for joining me today. We'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to me directly at becky@proaudiovoices.com. Thanks for joining us for Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. Please take a moment to subscribe at audiobookconnection.com. The podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Learn more at proaudiovoices.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and please join us next week.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.